Indianapolis and New York. Colts and Jets coming up. Been chilly here the last couple of days, but it's beautiful now. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms here, getting set for kickoff. We talked last night about how just 1 week can change the whole complexion of a season, specifically when you were talking about the Jets side of it.
Oh, absolutely. You're a 2-3 football team. You're playing the Indianapolis culture in front of your home crowd. This is time to take advantage of a situation. Get the crowd behind you right from the start today.
It's going to be gusty at times, but very nice, comfortable temperature as the Jets won the coin toss and elected to defer. This is Brazil going to take a knee, bring in Andrew Luck and that Colts offense out to the 20-yard line. The numbers posted last week, engineered by Luck, the best they had seen since Peyton's last year back in 2010 when it came to yardage, passing yardage, points on the board in the win over Green Bay. Wrights is out at left guard, so Lincolnbach gets the start here today. Satali is also back at center, and they are without Donald Brown. He's out with a knee, so the rookie fifth-rounder out of Mississippi State, Vic Ballard, gets his first start since the Music City Bowl last year in his senior year.
190!
Luck finds the rookie tight end, Dwayne Allen, who had a touchdown in the victory over the Packers last week. And he's got 12 yards on the first play of the game. Well, the Jets defense, they need a big performance up front today. They got first rounders on the ends, with DeVito moving in to the nose with Boha out today. Harris, of course, always in on so many tackles, and a captain here. And then the secondary with Wilson on one side. Again, lost for the season, Revis. Cromartie on Reggie Wayne. We expect most of the day should be a fascinating battle. Empty backfield here for Luck and 5 receivers. And the little toss is going to lose yardage as he goes to Nathan Palmer, a rookie out of Northern Illinois, and a loss of 5. That's Wilson coming up to make the tackle.
Yeah, good job by Kyle Wilson. And anytime this Colts offense, 2 things I would do on the defensive side. When they spread it out and there's nobody back there with Andrew Luck, it is going to be a very quick pass. So be aggressive on the defensive side, or I'd blitz that formation too, because they'll have a hard time picking up the blitz.
So it's a 2nd and 15, and again, Reggie Wayne now a slot receiver for the Colts most of the time, and what a productive year he's had as they go end around here with Donnie Avery. Helmet comes flying off, and it's no gain.
Yeah, good play that time. Calvin Pace, he is an outside linebacker. Does a nice job, doesn't get fooled, but Muhammad Wilkerson, number 96. Look at that. You said it, Jim. They need these defensive ends to be big, to be a force in the football game. Good start for Muhammad Wilkerson.
Wilkerson, the first rounder a year ago, and the first rounder this year. Copel starting also today. The 2 ends. Noeldy Moore is the running back here on 3rd and 15. As Luck flings it down the field and has his man for the first down near the 50. That's Donnie Avery beating Wilson for 24 yards.
Well, that was nice and simple for Andrew Luck. He's going, there's a lot of stuff to my left. Well, oh man, that is one nice route by Avery. This guy can run. Jim Nantz, you watch these Colt receivers warm up. You turn to me, fast. Reggie Wayne might be the slowest guy Andrew Luck throws to, and he's one of the best in the NFL. Avery, back from his injury from a couple years ago. Fast. T.Y. Hilton, fast. Comes out of cuts, full speed. We saw it there.
Yeah, we'll see some of T.Y. here today. Chance to show what you're talking about. Is on first down. It's Ballard getting his first carry, and he's got 4 yards. And there's Coach Ryan, still feeling very positive about things even after these back-to-back losses in a 2-3 start.
Yeah, he did. You know, we talked to him. First off, let's remember who they've lost to. You know, they haven't lost to the bottom tier of the NFL. That's one thing. But he did say, Jim, to us, I'm a positive guy, especially talking about his team to the public. Now, when he gets in that classroom, might be a little different.
Yeah,
But believes in his football team still, of
he
course.
says, I do tell my team the truth. That's what he told us. 2nd down and 6. As Ballard shows good balance and is within 1 of the first. And how about Vic Ballard getting the start here today? We met with him last night. You were impressed, so was I.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was impressed with the person, but I like him as a running back. Big, strong guy. Vic Ballard, we say, Vic, what's your strength between the tackles?
Yeah.
Runs it tough, and that's what you want when you're a passing football team. It's nice to have that big, tough guy to put you in situations like this.
He says, I'll do my damage between the tackles, and I want to run as hard as I can without making any mistakes tomorrow in my first start. 3rd and 1. And Ballard stays in there as they go shotgun. They fake the handoff to him, and Luck was looking down the field. Instead, he overthrows Dwayne Allen. And 4th and 1, they're bringing out the punting team, not even thinking twice about it.
Yeah, that's right. Manage the game. Don't give a short field for the Jets. Don't boost their confidence. Bruce Arians, offensive coordinator, acting head coach, said that, and this makes sense. Have a game plan as a coach going in, and don't alter it, especially this early in the football game.
So Pat McAfee into punt. His gross average of 49 yards a kick so far, currently the highest in team history, but he'll take something off of this one. And covered down there, almost slipped out of the hands for a moment, but it is down at that point by LaVege. 37 yards. The Jets are pinned back to start. We're back. The Jets about to take their first snap, and Antonio Cromartie is poised and ready to go in. He's got the helmet on. And you said we'll see him some on offense today. And here they go. Up the middle with Sean Green for 4. So that's a good gainer from the 2-yard line out. And here is Mark Sanchez. Sanchez, again, under 50% since week 1. You've been impressed, Bill, with Austin Howard. What a find last year. Signed off the practice squad from Baltimore. And Keller is back today, one of Sanchez's favorite targets. He's missed most of the season with a hamstring injury. 2nd and 6. And they got someone on Green quickly. Picks up only 2. Well, this Indianapolis defense, they switched to a 3-4 this year. There's Redding. He's been valuable to them. They're without, though, Robert Mathis. That's a big loss. Out with a knee. So Hughes, a former first-rounder, steps in for him. Freeney, of course, on the other side. And Cassius Vaughn will start, although they did not deactivate Vontae Davis, who has a tender ankle. Davis is up, but not starting.
There's Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator. This is one aggressive defense. Man-to-man across the board.
3rd and 4. And that was thrown toward Curley, but not catchable.
Yeah, it was one of those. He was targeted, but it was way over the head, Jim. We'll talk about that later. Nobody open on the play. This young defense, Greg Minuski, new coordinator, nothing shy about him. We saw it in the run defense, those first 2 plays. They're aggressive, and they are not afraid to come up and cover you tight.
Tebow, the up back, who has run for a couple of firsts. And a punt formation. It's Malone. A one hopper. Now the second bounce goes out of bounds. Hilton just watches it go out at the 41. 50-yard punt. No score first quarter. Over at the Intrepid, the museum recently awarded the Space Shuttle Enterprise. Been on display since July. Now here's Luck, who just across the river in April, of course, was the first selection in the NFL draft. Second series starts from the 41. Good fake. Down the field. And incomplete. Fleener got the flag he was wanting. It's going to be called on Antonio Allen, who just came up, the 7th round pick off of the practice squad. Going to be flagged for this one, I believe.
Pass interference, number 39 defense. First down, spot of a foul.
Bill
Number
Levy,
78, reporting eligible.
as Tony Hills is reporting as an eligible receiver on the Colts front.
Yeah, it's well, there's a lot of hand fighting going on there. Tough call, but nowadays you've got to be perfect as a defensive back. It's that push off, maybe at the last second. When they get those kind of formations, you expect the tight end to go short. That probably caught Allen off guard.
Has a 28-yard penalty. It's back to Ballard. Goes off left tackle, then cuts back for 3. You can get live score updates of all of your favorite teams with the new CBS Sportcaster app. Available on select devices. Visit cbssports.com/mobile or text SCORE to 42777 to get the free app.
There's Reggie Wayne. Jim, we talked about in the open. That's a pretty nice block.
Yeah.
He gets in there and gets LaRon Landry. He's moving around, a lot of different formations. Antonio Cromartie is following him so far. Looks like it's going to be fun to watch it. 2 really good players at their position.
He got some tips from Hines Ward how to do that, and they throw it to him now. Reggie Wayne has it near a first. Hey, he met with Hines Ward during the preseason. Said, what's this playing slot all about?
Yeah, playing slot, going inside and blocking, and that's a play. That's a good offensive call because Antonio Cromartie, you're playing Reggie Wayne. You worry about him across the field, deep here and there. You've got to give up those 5-yard passes.
They're going to measure for the first. Reggie got Hines' cell phone number, and he texted. In fact, Hines texted him after the opener against Chicago to offer some advice.
Yeah, he did, Jim. But just before we talk about that, let's just watch Andrew Luck. When you watch his throwing motion, the one thing I love, boy, he throws a perfect spiral too, which makes it easy for wide receivers to catch. But his motion is, he never breaks his arm angle. In other words, there's an angle in the arm, and he swings that shoulder around. That's one of the reasons why he doesn't lose control of the football, throws it at almost at a perfect speed for these wide receivers to catch.
He's got a first down. Luck's hit already 4 different receivers. And operating now from the New York 21. Gets the pressure on. Ball deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it was good coverage down the field, but also what you got to like if you're a Colts, so the coaches on the sideline are the fans. Lots of time for Andrew Luck, able to move in the pocket. Nobody there to hit him from behind. So the Jets.
Wilkerson got a hand on it.
Yeah, he did. Good job by Wilkerson. 2 good plays so far.
Yeah, 2 good plays, and you said that defensive front has to step up here today for the Jets. Essential.
You want to be good on the defense in the NFL now, you got to be able to pressure the quarterback with your front defensive line.
2nd down and 10. And look at Bart Scott just reach up and knock it away. There is a flag down.
Personal foul. Number 96, defense, roughing the passer. Half the distance to the goal.
Just when we were talking about Wilkerson being active in on a couple of plays, he'll give the Colts the first down, the 2nd Jet penalty by the defense on this drive.
Oh, boy, yeah, he hits him from behind. It's way late. Gets around Mike McGlynn, but that's just, hey, look, when you're a football team like the Jets, it's not about playing perfect, but it's got to be smart. Your margin of error is not that great. Plays like that, they can cost you the game.
First down at the 11. And there's Wilkerson on him. Holds him to 1. You got a first rounder in Wilkerson. You got a first rounder in Copels getting the start today. And again, DeVito moves to the nose with Sione Bouha out. What about these first round guys?
Well, listen, we've talked about it. I looked at the Jets before the season. I said, this is a top 5 defense in the NFL. Revis, Cromartie, veteran safeties, and high draft picks on the defensive line. The defense has not held their end of the bargain up with this football team. Goes unnoticed because of the quarterback.
2nd and 9. And Luck has a completion at about the 2. That's with T.Y. Hilton.
Beautiful throw underneath. That's not an easy throw. And Andrew Luck right on target. Beautiful rhythm and motion. And look how he gets his body into the throw and to the body of Hilton. That's what you want when you go tight, short, across the middle in the NFL. They show you everything.
They bring in DeLon Carter now, a big back, number 34. Second-year man out of Syracuse, saw a lot of action last year. 3rd and 1. Can get a first without getting into the end zone. Luck though goes end zone and goes too high for Fleener.
Oh, he had him. They had the Jets there. Situation like that, good play call. But Andrew Luck just rushes the throw. That's really what he did. He didn't let it set in his arm perfectly. He rushed it, and that rushing of the throw, that's the reason why it went high. Two really good opportunities by this Colts offense. Both of them gone by.
Be a 20-yard field goal try for Adam Vinatieri. 9th all-time scorer in league history. He's never kicked in this stadium before, and now with that successful field goal, he's now made a field goal in 38 different NFL stadiums in his career.
Hey, you look at the scoring drive, Jim, you can say the Jets got to sit there and go, hey, feel kind of good. We're only down 3-0. This could have been a lot worse. Andrew Luck had 2 chances and missed them. So that's what it takes sometimes. Defense did a good job of just hanging in there.
Well, Joe McKnight is the returner, of course, for the Jets. He had a 100-yard touchdown return Monday night in the game against Houston, giving the Jets now 11 consecutive years with a kickoff return for a score. As McAfee boots it 7 yards deep. The Jets have run only 3 plays in the first 9 minutes. 3-0 Indianapolis. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms back here at MetLife Stadium as Mark Sanchez and the 28th ranked Jets offense begins its second series of the game. A little toss over here to Curley, and a good gainer for the Jets. Give him 9. Sanchez, in meeting with him this week, talked about how he's always upbeat and positive. Got some of that from Pete Carroll when he was in college. His parents have always had a very positive attitude in their lives too.
Yeah, you know, we hear this a lot from players. Doesn't listen to the radio, doesn't watch the TV when they talk about them. And, you know, listen, if you can do that, that is good. Depends on what kind of person you are. Some people, it gives them motivation to hear people talk bad about them, but you said it right. He likes to be positive, very upbeat with us on Friday.
On 2nd and 1, Green has the first down. We've got an update. James Brown, Cincinnati and Cleveland. What's the story?
Brown's mistake, essentially capitalizing. Yes, off a Brandon Whedon interception, Andy Dalton puts it on Jermaine Grisham. He makes a move down the middle of the field, 55 yards for a touchdown, putting Cincinnati up 6-7-0. Hey, Jim Nantz, so what kind of guy is Phil Simms? Does he prefer people talking about him, or does he not watch TV and listen to radio?
He's got the big elephant ears. He hears it all. He's listening to you guys back in the studio during rehearsal.
It's rabbit ears. I take all the negativity and make it, you know, gives me. I like it, JB, as you know.
Well, look at this. Tim Tebow has come in now after they pick up the first down on the handoff and the carry by Green.
And to answer JB's question, I listen and watch everything.
Redding hobbled off, by the way, on that last stop. Replaced by Ricardo Matthews. And Tebow drives ahead for 4.
Well, it's interesting. We see Tim Tebow in there. This is always, when do you bring him in? What kind of play do you run? And there's a rhythm you have to get to it. Tony Sperano says it's all by feel on his part. If Mark Sanchez is hot, then we're not going to see Tim Tebow. But I think he is a good changeup. I think there are many situations where he can be a benefit to the football team, and I think the Jets, it's tough. They got to find a way to use him a little more.
So Sanchez back under center, 2nd down, and we'll call it 7. And there's a nice run by Green. His longest since late last season. He did not have a 15-yard run this year. The only back with 75 attempts in the league who did not have one.
Left guard, Matt Sloss, and then the right guard, Brandon Moore, pulls around and makes the blocks. And the one thing that I was caught off guard by probably this week, this Jets offensive line is definitely playing better than you perceive it. And Rulin, the tight end, number 87, nice job by him, helping the run.
Longest run by Green in his last 126 carries. Wow. Good for 21 yards. First down at the Colts 44. Right back with him, and he plows ahead for 5 more. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Bond, James Bond, celebrating 50 years of the world's most famous spy, and a report from the front lines of Syria on 60 Minutes tonight. Now, Green will go to the sidelines, and you did expect a big game out of him today, and we have seen a couple of nice runs here.
Yes, I think they're close with their run game. This Colts defense, they are not great when it comes against the rush, 25th in the NFL against it. So this is an opportunity to get your so-called ground and pound going.
It's McKnight taking the toss. McKnight has another first down. That's 3 on this drive for the Jets. Running behind Matt Slauson. Good for 7.
You said it right. Nice change-up, too. You beat them up the middle, get them digging in, and you go outside. And there's Slauson again, pulling around. That is awesome. That's what you do as an offensive lineman. Go to the ground. There he is, the guard. That's what you do. Because if you go to the ground, if you miss the block, they still got to jump over you.
3 first downs, all picked up on the ground. As Green is back in, and he's up at the top of the screen, split wide. They go left instead. And incomplete over the head of Curley, as really Freeney may have gotten even a fingertip on it. Wrecked that play for the Jets.
Yeah, tip pass. Boy, tip passes lost the game for the New York Jets against the Houston Texans. Or let me rephrase it. Dwight Freeney has seen so many quick passes, but he knows too. 5 wide receivers, Jim Nantz. They're not going to hold it forever and throw it down the field, so be looking for the quarterback to get rid of it quick. Dwight Freeney did it.
Of course, Freeney again operating today without his running mate Robert Mathis, inactive with a knee. 2nd down and 10. In fact, the Green short gainer, and the Colts defense without Mathis really changes everything.
I think it changes the game for the New York Jets. It allows them freedom to basically do whatever they want, run or pass. When Robert Mathis is in there with Dwight Freeney, that is the core of this defense. What do you do? Who do you block? It makes 5 defensive linemen in there when those 2 play. So today, Mathis out. Dwight Freeney is going to see chips, double teams. They all go towards him.
And you saw number 92, Jerry Hughes, who's taken Mathis's place. 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, they need him to come through too, a first-round pick.
And Sanchez fires it in there for the first. That is Stephen Hill, who's back in action, and a gain of 9 after sitting out the last 2 games with a hamstring.
Big-time throw to the sideline. You get one-on-one coverage in the NFL. Does your quarterback have the arm to drive it to the sideline? And this time, Mark Sanchez, good balance. How's that? That's pretty. Man, these footballs these guys throw nowadays, though, they're so nice. Jim, you could throw a spiral.
I do. As Green cuts and drives it down to the 15. Another 7 yards.
Good running by Sean Green. Get this rhythm going. Like you say, when you play a team that gives you the chance to get it done, then you got to get it done. The Jets off to a good start running this football.
So Green back to the sideline. Powell is the running back.
Antonio Cromartie in the game.
That's him in motion right there. They go up the middle with Powell. Picking up another first down at the 10. So they decoyed him. Fake the end around, 4 yards for Powell.
You said it right. He comes in as a decoy.
And Tebow is about to come in as the quarter is running down.
Here comes Cromartie. Look at this. You see him coming over. There is a little, hey, they said Antonio Cromartie comes in the game. He's not coming in to block somebody. So be on high alert when he's in there on offense.
First quarter comes to an end. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Jets are driving as we begin the second quarter here in New Jersey. The Jets have managed only 2 touchdowns by their offense in their previous 45 drives. Actually 46. But now the 12th play of this series coming up, and it's spanned over 6 minutes.
Got to be creative or overpowering when you're down inside.
It's Green. And he's met near the 5 by Freeman.
Well, him and Zibikowski. The one thing I'm noticing from this Colts defense, Antoine Bethea, number 41, Tom Zibikowski, number 28. I know they're down near the goal line, but they are flying up. The Jets keep running this football. Without question, they're going to be able to try a shot over the top later in the game.
Second down and 4. Incomplete. Thrown toward Bilal Powell.
That's a killer for a quarterback. You know, you hate to throw incompletions on screens. I know I did, but that was a nice call. Inside screen, trying to take advantage of the fact that the Colts like to rush up the field fast. Dwight Freeney loves to get outside, get to the quarterback. Didn't happen that time. They read the play, and 3 defensive linemen ready for the screen.
Third and 4.
Stay, you're going to let him block.
Redding back on that defensive line for the Colts after missing a number of snaps. And Sanchez in control. Throws it back in the end zone for the touchdown to Hill. He got the time he needed, and he found the rookie in the back of the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, that's just making a play. Sometimes that's what it is. It's just Mark Sanchez, that is not the design. Stephen Hill, I think he's supposed to work across the back of the end zone. Maybe not. He stops and then breaks back out. They tried that play last week. It did not work. Beautiful throw. Nice catch.
Stephen Hill, his 3rd touchdown of the season.
You said it. You need time for a receiver to go to the back of the end zone, stop, and work back out.
Nick Folk out for the extra point. He's never missed one in his entire career. 223 makes. And another one. Second longest drive of the season by New York. Time-wise, 6 minutes, 49 seconds. And a touchdown. Sanchez to Hill. Well, the Jets, after back-to-back home losses, have the lead for the first time now in this 3-game home stretch. Never had the lead against, of course, Houston, which blanked by the 49ers the week before that. 14-play drive. It was a beauty with 57 yards coming on the ground. Hill, who was targeted 9 times weeks 2 and 3 without a catch, has a couple of receptions on 3rd down, including the touchdown. So we got a touch back here. Cassius Vaughn taking a knee.
Well, here's what they're doing. They got 2 running back, the tight end and running back crossing. If it's man-to-man coverage, throw to them. But if it's a zone, look for Stephen Hill deep in the end zone. So as you watch the 2 guys cross, they are covered. And then the back of the end zone, Zibikowski with Hill. And Hill stops, works back out. That is a tight window. But, Jim, we see this type of play started by the Patriots years ago. The back of the end zone line. Zibikowski all over it. Couldn't make the play.
Carter is the running back. And little mix-up as Luck and Carter collided. It's only a 1-yard gain. We got another update. James Brown, we're listening. Back to you in New York.
Hey, Jim, first time the Cowboys have scored on their opening drive. Hey, this is 8 plays, 80-yard drive. Felix Jones bounces it outside, 22 yards for a touchdown. Dallas up 7-3. Cowboys have never beaten the Ravens. They're 0-3. Back to Jim Nance. Phil Simms.
Boy, was Tony Romo getting some heat today.
Hey, him and Mark Sanchez should call each other. Who's getting more heat? Doesn't matter. It's a lot either way.
Welding up ahead for 5. It'll set up 3rd and 4.
Well, you look at the first 2 drives by the Colts. Andrew Luck had to reload that time. That's why he missed it. And the second one, he just rushed the throw. But Colts doing a good job of getting people open.
Muhammad Wilkerson is down. The Jet defensive lineman. They're already without Kenrick Ellis and Sione Boha. So very thin up front. They did sign Daniel Muir here in the last week, former Colt. And Wilkerson able to walk off.
Well, that's a good sign. And of course, they got Damon Harrison, number 71, who they have in there too, Jim, a really big defensive lineman. Well, I think you said it right. Wilkerson, high energy, off to a really good start as far as making plays for this Jets defense.
3rd down and 4. Goes across his body. He's intercepted by Cromartie. Cromartie's going to take it home for the touchdown. There is a flag back at the 20-yard line.
I think LaRon Landry hit Andrew Luck after the interception.
A pass that was intended for Reggie Wayne.
During the return of the interception, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 51 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, New York Jets.
So Aaron Maben's penalty takes the touchdown off the board.
Sorry, I said LaRon Landry. I think he does block Luck, but a little pressure, off balance, throwing on the run, and Antonio Cromartie, there's a reason why you see him on the offensive side. He has exceptional hands, offensive or defense. Oh, so it was. I didn't see the hit there on Andrew Luck. Well, that was a pretty tough call. I didn't. Right, that was him hitting Luck.
That was
because he hit him low. He hit him with the crown of the helmet. And Luck, was he part of the play? Did you think he could make the tackle? If you do, you're allowed to block the quarterback.
Yeah, it's not like it's a time where you can call roughing the passer. He's already thrown the incompletion.
If he's not part of the play, you can't block kickers and quarterbacks. But I thought he was close enough to block.
From the 35 now. Sean Green for 5. He seems to have a little extra acceleration here today.
Oh, well, shoot. You know, when you know an opportunity's there, Jim, it excites everybody. I mean, look, you know, it's just like a quarterback. When you play against the worst pass defense, you get excited. But here's the play. Let's watch and just see when it happens. Here comes the return. And there's the hit. To me, I didn't see anything. Now, I'm judging it quickly. Didn't see anything illegal.
And he was in the area where the return was happening.
Definitely could have made the tackle.
2nd down, carried by Green, and they run right down the line with him, maybe set him back a yard. That's Cavell Connor along with Jerry Hughes.
Yeah, Jerry Hughes, you know, 1st-round draft pick out of Texas Christian University. They need this guy to become a player. I mean, a guy that can sack the quarterback, change the game like Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. And what they really want him to be, play with power, because he is a gifted athlete, has the size, and can really run.
Now the Jets 3rd and 5.
Hey, boom!
There's a 1st down catch. Shillings takes it into the red zone at the 18-yard line. Jets trying to make the most of their 2nd drive in their last 34 series. Has started on a short field.
Yeah, it's a good job. Good route by Chaz Schillen. Used his size and power to push off Cassius Vaughn and just come underneath. You know, that's what it comes down to. Getting their receivers healthy. When you get all these one-on-one matchups in the NFL, you got to make it happen. That time, Chaz Schillen did it.
390.
Lined up now in the eye with Hilliard, the fullback, Green, the tailback, and it's Green with a flag down at the line of scrimmage. He was running behind Brandon Moore.
Boy, Jerry Hughes again.
Offside, number 92 defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
And that's Hughes indeed.
I wonder he got this so quick.
It's Bruce Arians talking to his rookie quarterback. Arians, by the way, was on the staff when Peyton Manning was a rookie at Indianapolis.
Look, this guy doesn't get the credit. Offensive coordinator. You and I have talked about it. I don't know why he's still not the coordinator in Pittsburgh. Did a great job there. But what luck for Andrew Luck to have him coming into the league.
1st and 5. As Curley, the it's within one, I will let that play on words go.
Well, you know, I'm clever.
Second down and one. Yeah, I don't know how you came up with that one.
Right off the top of my head.
You know, the pass you just saw right there, that's not something the Jets really do for Sanchez. Every quarterback in the league gets a lot of short tosses. Their completion percentage is up there. He doesn't get a lot of gimmies, does he?
We did a game last week. You're right. He doesn't get enough gimmies. It does distort stats. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, I think they threw 31 completions last week from about 6 yards.
Second and one. And Green powers ahead, and he's got the touchdown.
How about that? Now this is what you want. Rex Ryan says, finally, my ground and pound. Well, you're not playing the 49ers either, but the blocking up front, the big thing right there, Jim, how about the read by Sean Green? Running backs are like quarterbacks. You got to pick the right hole. Did he make it into the end zone? That's a big question, too.
By the way, they had just brought in Jason Smith, and he threw one of those blocks.
Oh, what a good job. He kept his knees off the ground. I think he scored. Of course, touchdowns being reviewed up top.
It's under review.
Well, they'll slow it down, freeze it, take a few looks at it. We'll be right back. The touchdown call on the field being reviewed. Watch the right elbow for Sean Green. Right there. That's the knee. Still looks like a touchdown to me.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Bill Levy confirms it.
You know, it's interesting. If you win super slow motion, I thought they could mark that about 1 inch or 2 inches away. But that's what it's for. And Sean Green got rewarded. Nice cut, nice read, good power.
His second touchdown rushing this season. He's got 63 yards here in this first half, and that touch. All set up by the Cromartie interception. Jets have a second touchdown in a 4.5-minute stretch to lead it 14-3. Not a lot of color on the trees there in Central Park. Two Broke Girls coming up tomorrow on CBS, making their dreams come true on an all-new episode. Only CBS. That's the finish site of the New York City Marathon, 3 weeks away from today. Green has his second touchdown in the last 9 games, going back to last season.
Well, I'll tell you this, the Colts, the coaches of the Jets, they believe in Sean Green. Tony Sparano said, look, we just got to get him in a position where we get him a lot of carries because he's big. You get the feel for the game as a running back like any player would when you get a lot of carries, and his size, you hope it wears the defense down.
We'll have this one returned by Vaughn. Ashes ball. And halted near the 15 on the forward progress by Chaz Schillens, the tackler. Just a 17-yard run back. So this is the first time you've had a chance to see Andrew Luck, and of course we've only had a few series here, but what are some of your first impressions?
Oh, well, there's some things, no matter how he plays today, he's not going to change my opinion. In college, you know, I watched him playing and I said, wow, he's bigger than everybody. Then I've watched him in the NFL and I go, man, he's still really big. And I think that's his greatest attribute, really. Size is a talent. He can shake off blocks. He has tremendous presence on the field, and he throws a football with ease and accuracy.
He's going to throw it here on first down. Fires it in there, incomplete. That was Hilton, intended receiver. Wilson defending. Update time. JB, it's all yours.
Jim and Phil, you know the Falcons have some weapons. And Matt Ryan, 2 interceptions, then he gets on track. 4-yard touchdown to Roddy White. 7-3 Falcons. Jim Nance, Phil Sims.
After a couple of early interceptions by Ryan, Ayers Fleener with the catch. And a first down, gain of 11.
You know, that just shows you that how they're working Andrew Luck this play. Really simple. He's looking to his right, just casually turns, throws the out cut to the left. That, you know, it just shows you a lot of repetitions in practice, being well taught, executes it easily on the field.
Now finding 6 different targets in this game, and there's a completion to Avery. and another first down. You talk about how he throws it. You asked him about these footballs in the NFL. Do you like them? He said, I love them. And a typical smart kid here said they're perfectly engineered to spiral.
I've never heard it said that way. Between the size of that football and the way you can fix them here in the NFL, I really say this and believe it. He throws it better here than he did in college.
He was an architecture major at Stanford, and they go round for 3. That was Mewelde Moore running it into the arms of David Harris.
Well, you talk about this. This is what they like. Bruce Arians, the hurry-up offense. This is not lightning fast. This is just kind of no huddle. He's calling the play there just to change the tempo and change the pace of this game, which is a good call by Bruce Arians. They need to.
Hey, look!
Of course, last week I think we saw the fastest that could ever be run in that Bronco Patriot game, and Luck runs away from the pressure. Now he has Allen with a flag down, and big Dwayne Allen, rookie from Clemson, has 21 yards. We'll check the flag at the 50.
You said it right. Big Dwayne Allen. Big, all-purpose tight end. 3rd-round draft pick this year from Clemson. And he's something. He's a talent. They did this whole receiving core, tight ends, wide receivers in one offseason.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 31 defense. Penalties declined. First down.
It's interesting. In the draft, they went Kobe Fleener, tight end. Andrew's old Stanford teammate, or young Stanford teammate, and then they went in the very next round, they went with Allen, another tight end.
Tight ends, wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks in this draft, running backs. Like we said in the opening, everything they're doing, it's about making Andrew Luck fulfill his potential. And they're off to a good start in year 1.
After a 21-yard gain. That's Fleener with David Harris. Wrapping him up at the 32, gain of 7.
And we see it so much. Can Rex Ryan, he does have time to look at his play sheet. I don't see I can see it without binoculars. It's so small. Oh, that's big. He's unfolded it a little bit. But hurry-up offenses stop defenses. They get extremely passive in these situations.
2nd and 3. Now, sideline and incomplete. Luck could have probably run for it. And tried to fire it in there to Donnie Avery, and Cromartie helped break it up.
You saw one of his strengths, 2 things. He can move with ease in the pocket. That, and I think he throws the football extremely well. Maybe his strength in throwing is when he moves, he can throw it with power and accuracy.
He's the top rushing quarterback in the AFC with 104 yards. And he faces a 3rd and 3 at the New York 32.
Jets crowd the line of scrimmage.
And he's intercepted again. It's Cromartie. Luck is going to try to cut the angle on him. There is a flag down as Luck is blocked at the 10, paving the way for Cromartie to take it home. There is a flag down at the far 20.
It's on Cromartie.
Pass interference, number 31 defense. First down, spot of the foul.
Boy, talk about a game changer there. Instead of the pick 6, that was on a 3rd and 3, and now the Colts will continue their drive.
Cromartie has magnets when it comes to catching. Well, there's the pull of the jersey, and that's what it did. That pull, I didn't see it until slow motion. It altered Reggie Wayne. You could see his shoulder dip. That didn't allow him to go for the football, so that's a really good call.
Throwing toward Reggie Wayne, who has only 1 catch so far, coming off the 13 reception game against Green Bay. That's the 4th Jets penalty today, all on their defense.
Well, they're trying to be aggressive, and you're going to play situations like that. You're going to get some pass interference calls. Put the pressure on those defensive backs. They got to stay tight.
Timeout, New York Jets. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Tower. Scores and highlights, Verizon. Halftime report. 7 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. New set of downs for Indianapolis off the penalty on Cromartie from the 20. Hit when he threw it, and a flag's down. Going to be another roughing the passer call here. It's going to be on Brian Thomas.
Ill use of the hands to the face, number 72.
Well,
Excuse me, this direction. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
well, he had a change of heart there too, so it's against Indianapolis, and it's called on Lickenbach. It was thrown right at the feet of the quarterback.
Yeah, it was. Lickenbach left guard. That's a clean hit
Yeah,
by
it sure
Thomas.
is. Yep.
Quick pressure, something the Jets are not getting. Good job there.
1st and 20 it'll be at the 30. By the way, Muhammad Wilkerson's been back in here the last 2 snaps after being shaken up earlier in this quarter. Goes down, a sack by the Jets. It's Antonio Allen coming up from the secondary. It's only the 6th sack of the year by the Jets.
Yeah, a little blitz coming from Andrew Luck's right. He steps up. Nice job. Keep hustling by Allen. And 5 wide receivers. Is anybody open quick? The answer is no. Good job by the Jets.
2nd and 22. Yeah, the 6th sack, 3rd fewest in the league. Antonio Allen with the big play. Let's see what Luck, how he responds. Got time this time. And incomplete over the head of Nathan Palmer. Wilson was right with him.
Well, you know, Jim, we talked about it. It just shows you what the Indianapolis Colts think about the Jets pass rush. There's nobody back there with Andrew Luck. They're spreading the field. They figure, let's get 5 guys out. Our offensive line can block their pass rushers. And really, overall, Andrew Luck getting plenty of time to throw the ball.
They've got to get all the way to the 10 for a first. If they don't pick up anything, it would be a 50-yard field goal attempt by Vinatieri. 6 defensive backs in for the Jets. As Luck, all kinds of time. Now it breaks down. He'll roll out and throw. And Wayne could not hold on. We've been 10 yards short of the first anyway.
Well, let's just take a look. Andrew Luck got good protection. He's looking down the field. Watch when the receivers take off. Is there anybody open? The initial coverage, very good. Nobody there. Good job of moving. And Antonio Cromartie. What did Reggie Wayne say? It's the long arms. He got his hand, that right hand up in there and knocked it out.
He said Cromartie's a nightmare is what he said in our meetings with him. So it'll be 50 yards.
Yeah. He's Spider-Man. And he's fast.
50 yards for Vinatieri. Made 4 out of 6 from 50 and beyond the last 2 years. And this one is in there, just inside the left upright. He had a 53-yard winner against Minnesota earlier this season. 2 field goals by Vinatieri, but the Jets lead it 14-6. You can join the NFL and the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer by supporting a Crucial Catch campaign. Visit NFL.com/auction to bid on authentic NFL pink gear worn by players and coaches. How about this? Indianapolis has now run 14 plays in Jets territory, and all they've come away with are a pair of field goals.
Well, that was a good drive. They kind of changed the feeling of the game, changed the pace, gives the football team confidence, gave that defense a rest, I should say, and got their passing game back in rhythm with Andrew Luck and these receivers.
It was an 11-play drive, spanning almost 4 minutes. McAfee's kick will be run back by the dangerous McKnight, who runs backwards all the way out to the 30. Pretty nifty, 34-yard run back.
Well, I'm interested to see the Jets here. They showed their power run game. They mixed it up pretty well. Still maybe asking Mark Sanchez too many times to pick up those third down passes. When we're going to see some play actions to take advantage of the fact they've been running the football well.
You see Mangold coming up to hike it, his 100th game as a Jet. Tebow is in at quarterback. Sanchez spread out wide to the left. They run right. They run it with Green for 19 yards.
There you go. That's what you want. Feel it. Good time to bring it in. Dwight Freeney not able to make the tackle. They got the right defense. Dwight Freeney comes down inside too fast. Talking to Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator, I said, are you ready for all the packages that can come in this game? And his basic response is, yeah, it's a pain. Of course, I'm, kind of cleaning it up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Green already with 82 yards on the ground. And more. A hard-earned 7 more. He had rushed for only 100 yards total in the last 3 games combined. He might have himself a 100-yard game by halftime.
Well, when you're a running back, Jim, you got to be able to make the right decisions, and you got to take 2-yard runs and make them into 5- and 7-yard runs, and that's what Sean Green did that time. You can't knock them all down every time. Sometimes the running back run around them or run over.
Powell is the running back here. Flags first.
False start. Number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Again, the Verizon halftime report will be coming up. The JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Coward, all the scores and highlights from the studio just a short distance away on the Verizon halftime report. Well, the Jets, there was an increased energy level in practice this week. That's what Rex Ryan told us from practice.
Well, they're competing more in practice. No more of this, pillow fights and everything looks good. Let's go out there and kind of fight each other, see if we can get it done.
Nice catch. That's Chaz Shillings in a first down. Well, Ryan was really saying he wanted to practice more like we need to play. So carry that energy over to Sunday. We're definitely seeing that.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear teams say, oh, we had a perfect week of practice, and I go, 2 things, how and why? How could it be perfect? You're installing new stuff, you're getting things you don't know. I'm a big believer. When practice is rough, you make mistakes in practice, you do not repeat them in the game. The game is nothing but adversity.
New set of downs. And the Colts are in on that play quickly on Powell. Set it back for a loss of 2 as Jarrell Freeman. What a story he's become for this Colts team. Former Canadian Football League player.
Yeah, he does a good job. I liked him when you watch him. Number 50, he is instinctive. You said it. Canadian, big, can make the tackles, active. Just what you want for a middle linebacker on defense.
2nd and 12. Sanchez, who bounces off the hip and is able to at least get an incompletion out of it. Thrown over the head of Shillings. That was Jerry Hughes.
Well, there it was. Number 92, Jerry Hughes. Don't try to run around him because you're fast. Just run over him. Let's see what he does. Gets the edge. Well, that time he went around.
Cumberland went around Cumberland. Sanchez fortunate, doing a good job to avoid the sack.
Did a good job not getting a penalty called there. Cumberland holding Jerry Hughes. Pass rusher, his challenge against the tight end. You got to get to the quarterback. He did it.
3 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Colts defense needs to make it stop. Setting up screen to Powell. Powell, the second man gets him at the 40. It was Darius Butler, the former New England Patriot, holds him to 1.
Yeah, it's just a good job, good read. Darius Butler, this call, it's there. But they're not a great screen team, the New York Jets. So it's not one of their focal points. They had to play, they had the defense fooled, but the rhythm of the play was so offbeat that Butler comes up and makes the tackle.
So 4th and 11. They go to Tebow. Tebow's going to throw. He's got a man wide open for the first down. The Jets take off down the field with Nick Bellore. Well, you would think after he's converted twice this year, Tebow in punt situations, running it, that maybe someone would be wise to it. Wide open was Nick Bellore, the backup linebacker.
Little different look. Good job by the Jets. New design in the punt formation.
We reached a 2-minute warning. 3 for 3 the Jets this year on fake punts as Tebow completes a 23-yarder to Nick Bellore.
Yeah, this is what they envision, the Jets on the offensive side. Tim Tebow doing the extra things. They want a more dynamic Brad Smith, who had success here with the Jets. Come in and run the football, throw an occasional pass, punt formations. It's already paid off in the punt formations alone.
That was the longest play of the day for the Jets, 23 yards. They go to number 23, Shaw Green. And that gap closed quickly. Picks up 3. Zibikowski puts the hit on him.
Yeah, but you know, that was a good play because this Indianapolis defense has been kind of teeing off. In other words, trying to pressure the offense. So when you get a defense like that, do a little trick, something different to throw them off balance. That's what that little fake one-way pitch outside was designed for.
Empty out the backfield. 2nd and 7. From the spread, they've got Dustin Keller, who's back in action. Corey Redding, but he hurt his hand. Dustin Keller, who grew up a Colts fan, outside of Indianapolis, about an hour away in Lafayette. And timeout called by New York.
Why?
Yeah, you don't want to leave any time for the Colts.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, plenty of time.
That is Darrelle Revis, actually.
Yeah, shooting movies.
Yep. Hey, how about that timeout a moment ago by the Jets?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it. The Colts have 3 timeouts. You have 1:09 to go. The New York Jets had 2 timeouts, so time was not even a factor.
At the last minute here, Sanchez runs to the sideline. Tebow comes into the huddle.
And to me, this is one of the big reasons why you got to like Tim Tebow in this offense. Inside the 10-yard line, situations just like this.
And they clear it out for him. Tebow has the first down.
There you go. Don't go off tackle. Nick Mangold, the guards, just power ahead and use a 250-pound running back. What they did, they double-teamed both inside defensive linemen. That's what you want to do. That way nothing can go wrong. Nobody comes free.
They disguised that to the last minute coming out of that break. He ran out there and the Colts tried to adjust, but Tebow picks it up with ease. Now McKnight is the running back flanking Sanchez on 1st and goal. To the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. Jason Hill.
Well, that was nice. Another good drive by the Jets offense. I think what you got to say too, Jim, diverse, showing them a little bit of everything. And that's a nice route by Jason Hill. Got inside on Powers and Sanchez. No pressure. That's what you call driving the football in there.
The former Jaguar receiver making his presence as a Jet. He's only been in on a couple of snaps.
He jumps up and celebrates with Tebow. Tebow might knock him out.
Yeah. Tebow, who converts on a 4th down with a throw on a fake punt and a completion for 23, and then a 3rd down to extend the drive.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is how they want it to work. You know, I've talked about it this week. We can't talk about everything here in this game. But I think the quarterback situation with the Jets is a lot more stable than we perceive. In other words, I don't think the Jets are on the verge of panicking like, oh, we got to change and the season's lost. They're 2-3. They could have played well in all 5 games and still been 2-3. They did lose to Houston, San Francisco, and the Pittsburgh Steelers down in Pittsburgh. So I think they're a little more patient and believe in their plan more than maybe the fans in talk radio does.
Well, I think the San Francisco loss was so humiliating that it sent the Jet faithful into a full-blown panic. But you're right. You're talking about losses to two teams in Houston, and San Francisco could be in the Super Bowl. And then you got the Steelers. Who knows? Can't give up on them, even though they're
Look, it sends
2-3.
It sends everybody into a panic because we're talking about. It's such a story every day. Tim Tebow today on the cover of the papers here in New York. It was Andrew Luck and Tim Tebow. So that's just the way it is.
Bond steps up to the 3 to return it. And down at the 22 with 21 seconds. I know you said you can't get it all in, so that's why we have tomorrow in reserve for you. Monday quarterback. Nobody knows the game like a QB, so Phil, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and a special guest, Dan Marino. I saw Dan this morning.
Yeah, Dan Marino's go. You know what that's for, don't you, Jim? You know how nowadays how TV shows go? You need a little eye candy on there, so we're bringing Marino on there for the eye candy.
I think it's for the opinions.
No, we need him. It's, come on. He's Dan Marino. He'll have a good team. He's going to look good, so that's it.
Well, the Jets come up big in this second quarter, and the Colts are going to run to the locker room. Down 21-6. A 21-point quarter for the Jets after putting up a total of 17 in the previous 9 quarters. 21-6 lead, New York at halftime. The Verizon halftime report is up next after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl. Back here on the home of Super Bowl 47. Of course, Colts fans are saying, wait a minute, don't forget last week. Our team was down 21-3 at halftime. Similar score to Green Bay. Came back and won that game. Here's a look at the Droid Razor in play. Presented by Motorola. How about Sean Green? 91 yards rushing in that first half. Whole lot of great blocking on that play right there. Sprung him for the touchdown. Including Jason Smith, who had come in just for that very play. Remember, the Jets had won the toss and deferred. So they'll be getting the football again. As Pat McAfee will be sending it down the way to Joe McKnight.
I guarantee you Rex Ryan said this to his team, 21-3 last week. They came back.
Yep.
There were opportunities there in the first half for the Colts to get more points and to keep drives alive that they missed.
Particularly early in the game. McAfee, their punter, their holder, and their kickoff specialist. Drills it to the back of the end zone. Well, that's for the Jets fans. That's what they're saying. Now, that's what they've been looking for all season long, that performance in that second quarter.
Well, I'm sure it is. Every team's looking for what the Jets did there in the second quarter. But I think for the Jets, keep the pressure on. Keep going after them. You're mixing up. It was power one series. It's Mark Sanchez the next. That's what you need to do as an offense. Always keep the defense reacting and not attacking you.
And that's what we were talking about. The previous 9 quarters, they had managed only 17 points. We mentioned that. 21. That outburst in the second period here today. So that's Sean Green for 4 as he moves in on 100. He's 5 yards away. Sanchez, very efficient, 9 of 13. Couple of touchdown passes.
Well, that just shows you. Numbers lie. And we talk about it all the time in the NFL. Now we've turned into Major League Baseball. Well, what's his on-base percentage? All these numbers. Mark Sanchez played pretty close to a perfect half. And you go, wow, just 60-some yards throwing. But that's what the offense dictated. And he was very efficient, got it done.
Here he's throwing. He's threw incomplete. He was going to Jeff Cumberland, who comes off his first career touchdown in the game against the Texans on Monday night. So third down coming up. 3rd and 6.
Yeah, it's a favorite pass play. They just ran these little hook routes to wide receivers, running backs, and to the tight ends, especially inside. Everybody's ready for it, covering them tight. And if you're going to run the football and you want to be physical, you're going to have a lot of 3rd and 5 and 6s. So this is where you got to be good.
Corey Redding, by the way, suffered a knee injury in that first half, and they tell us he's questionable to return. It'll be another big loss. 36 down the sideline, and no flag as Schillens was the intended receiver. Jerry Hughes again, Phil, putting some pressure.
Yeah, it's pressure. They're coming after Mark Sanchez. And it's the blitz up front. The Jets can't block it all. And Jerry Hughes, good hit by him on the quarterback down the sideline. Good coverage. Nowhere to throw it. Look, this team last week pressured Aaron Rodgers and those wide receivers and Jermichael Finley, the tight end. So when they want to, they're not going to be afraid to pressure this Jets offense.
Third different punter in the last 3 years for the Jets. Beautiful. And of course a fair catch here by Hilton at the 24-yard line. 53-yard boomer. 21-6. Let's see what Luck and the Colts can do on their first drive of the second half. And that's Reggie, or that is Freeney, all wired up on the sideline.
Yeah.
Vic Ballard get the carry here. And he's only got a couple. You know, Reggie Wayne coming off this incredible performance, but matched up today with Antonio Cromartie, he has only one catch so far.
Yeah, he has gone down the field a couple times, and Antonio Cromartie has been all over him. I don't know if the Colts are really worried about that we have to get the ball to Reggie Wayne. Andrew Luck is sort of the other guys too. But no matter where he goes in these formations, Antonio Cromartie most of the time has been aggressive against him.
He's got 899 career receptions. And a completion here with a walk in front for Hilton. Shoved out of bounds at the 41, picks up 16.
You said it right, that ball was tipped, Jim, but still able to be on target. Nice fake. Good numbers to the outside, and that is nice. Costanzo, the left tackle, gets outside, creates some extra space for more yards.
Copels was the one who got a hand on it.
Saw all those receiver screens with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bruce Arians brought them to the Colts.
It's Ballard. Driving ahead for 4. This is a young man who grew up in Pascagoula, Mississippi, down in kind of the Hurricane Alley down there by Biloxi, and did get a lot of Division I offers. Ended up in Mississippi State, where he scored 29 touchdowns the last 2 years.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. After his junior year, he was offered a scholarship by the University of Houston, your alma mater,
yes,
and you guys pulled it away from him. So that's what you guys are about now.
Thanks. We did go 13-1 last year, by the way, his senior year.
Okay.
Without him. But he is a fine-looking prospect here. And a play action. Big to him down the field and over the head of Wayne. There is a flag, though, in the offensive backfield.
It was a good play. It was a double move.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Number 31 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Second time Cromartie's been flagged. That will give the Colts a first down. I want to get back to Reggie Wayne, though, and Reggie has a very special relationship with Coach Chuck Pagano. It goes back to his days at the University of Miami. He actually went to go see the coach in the hospital when, of course, the word first came out. Went to see him as a friend. He said, they didn't want to go talk football, and they communicated yesterday before he got on the plane here to come to New York, and the coach said, "You going to the Big Apple? Go give us a big performance." Carter fighting for 5. And that performance last week, everybody doing it for Chuck. Chuck strong.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne wearing those orange gloves in honor of Chuck Pagano. And you know, it's interesting, going back to the years at the University of Miami, Jim, he called Reggie Wayne this offseason and asked him to stay with the Colts. Take a leap of faith. In other words, young team, new quarterback, new system. We need you here to help build it. He stayed.
On second down and 5, they're 3 yards short. And Reggie took that leap of faith. And there was a lot of talk that there were some prominent teams around the league that were wanting to pick him up.
Who wouldn't?
Yep.
I could think of one up north that was probably dying to get Reggie Wayne. They did okay. They got Brandon Lloyd.
Yep.
But I always thought the New England Patriots would be one of the teams that would really make an effort to get him. Big third down.
They've missed their last 4 times on third down. Pressure and Luck able to get the pass away, and then there's a flag thrown. That was Copels, who was on the quarterback.
Intentional grounding. Number 12. Loss of down.
Well, you know, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, that's roughing the passer. Because every time you see a quarterback hit the ground, what do? You look for the flag. And this is just a good job. Once again, it's a screen by the Colts. The Jets all over it. And once again, hey, we talked about the defensive line making some hits.
He's saying here, Arians is saying Mewelde Moore was right there.
It doesn't matter. It's insignificant really though, Jim. You're in the middle of the field, just gives the punter a little more room, easier kick.
McAfee, there was contact after the punt, no flag. And it flies into the end zone, so a touchback that will only net 35 yards. It remains 21-6. Jets. Just across the river from the Big Apple, the Jets leading it here 21-6. Run it into the line with Green for 3. That offensive line has played well here today. And you think one of the big surprises for the Jets this year has been their right tackle, Austin Howard.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of guys said this about Andrew Luck. Austin Howard, he is one big man, 6'7", 333. And when you've got a little athletic talent, size is a talent too. And he's short of that right tackle position, Jim. I think he is one of the good surprises of their football team.
On the left side, they have Vladimir Ducasin now for Slauson at left guard. 2nd and 7. They run that way with Green banging helmets and getting within a couple for a first. That puts him over 100. He's got his first 100-yard game of the season.
Yeah, how about that? Now this game, a couple big stories. Dwight Freeney, you need him to play well. Now well, you can tell. I can't even say anything. He's got that right knee. He is not even close to being the pass rusher or the guy, the dynamic person you want to see on the field. So him, Robert Mathis out, that is the 2 biggest parts of your defense really not getting it done today.
3rd and 3. Almost intercepted by Antoine Bethea. Pass was intended for Curley. So the Indianapolis defense this time forces a 3 and out.
Well, they bring Curley in motion. That's why you do it. Oh, well, I guess maybe the football is there just a little too quick. But it's designed for him to go into motion, to get away from the defender, to throw it down the middle. The timing, not very good.
So 2 straight 3 and outs for the Jets. And Malone, he had a beautiful punt the last time. This is another good one that demands the fair catch at the 22. 49 yards on the punt. We're back with Andrew Luck and the Colts. They've been held out of the end zone so far today. Just a pair of Vinatieri field goals. Luck 10 out of 19, 113 yards and picked once. Fakes to Ballard, looking deep down the field. He's got a man there, it's Avery. And it's incomplete. Ron Landry had his back turned, no flag.
Oh yeah, it was close. They were going to throw the flag too. But nice play. They got Reggie Wayne down the middle. That caught the little across and up. Usually when you see a receiver coming across, you're thinking in cut. Beautiful throw by Andrew Luck. And this is why the Colts were down the sideline yelling. And you know what? I don't blame them. That is pass interference. Yeah.
Bruce Arians trying to cite the rule book on pass interference as Luck. Pass incomplete. That was Dwayne Allen We got an update. Over to James Brown in the studio.
Jim and Phil, this hasn't happened too often.
No, it hasn't happened too often, and ties an NFL record. Jacoby Jones goes untouched, 108 yards for a touchdown, putting the Ravens up 24-13.
Only the third time in NFL history that has happened. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
I can tie that little highlight to this game. McKnight last year of the Jets running in that same direction, went 107 yards for the longest play in Jets history against the Ravens. Here it's a 3rd and 10 as Luck sips it, and he's got the first down at the 39. His first completion on 3rd down after 5 straight misses. That goes for 16.
I'll say last year when Andrew Luck was at Stanford, somebody asked me about him. I said, hey, I like him as a quarterback. I think he'll be successful, but I don't see him make dynamic throws enough. And, of course, I'm eating those words. I just said I haven't seen them. I've seen plenty of them in these first 5 weeks.
That got a little attention, as I recall.
Well, I got to admit, every once in a while, I am wrong. But he has thrown the ball physically. Even today, he's throwing it well.
And backing in for 5, that's Ballard. There were people saying, well, what does he know? He's just eye candy. Use your line, all right, that you used on Marino. Get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL. That's 635 to download NFL Mobile. Or go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. What is it you like about his throwing motion?
Well, here's the big thing. It's compact. That arm angle is so important. And, of course, I'm not going to do a clinic on it, but that is the secret to really being a consistent thrower in this league. But I always like guys who can get the football down the field with little effort. It's like in golf. Can you hit it 300 yards without swinging as hard as you can? Is it natural? That's what I like about Andrew Luck.
2nd and 5. And here come the Jets all over. They've got it down at the 30. But there's a flag for a face mask, I believe. Coples was there, along with Bart Scott.
Personal foul, face mask, number 98 defense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Well, let's just say this. It's unfortunate. They do have a face mask here. Coples grabs it. Bart Scott has got him by the jersey, going to get the sack. But we talked about the start of the game, the defensive linemen. Wilkerson, Coples, both making plays.
I will say this. Coples got his hand in there and
never let go.
Never let go. I mean, you know you're going to get called for it. So he, for some reason, just kept tugging on the helmet.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a bad play. I was looking at the positive side that the defensive line is finally getting back there and getting some chances to hit the quarterback.
Yeah, Wilkerson and Coples, you thought were big keys today, and they both have been more aggressive than we've seen in the past.
No doubt about it. Growing up, defensive line, tough spot to learn to play in this league, no doubt about it.
Their first routers the last 2 years. First down now off the penalty, and Carter falls into a pile at the 48. Gain of 3.
You know, you talk about those defensive linemen, Leron Landry getting up there quick, but I've always been told by a lot of NFL coaches, and you know, even Coach Parcells used to say it, being a defensive lineman in the NFL, you got to learn how to take on blocks, how to rush the passer. What do you do when you get double teamed by 2 talented offensive linemen? You don't see that too often in college. So it's a tough transition, no doubt about it.
2nd and 7. Carter getting a lot of work now. Give him 5 more. It'll be 3rd and 2 from the Jets side of the field.
Bruce Arians talked about Carter last night. They like him. You know, he's healthy now, and he is a big running back that can really kind of do everything. Can run with power and still has those feet where he can bounce it outside if the opportunity is there.
He had some issues last year holding on to the football, but not the case here so far. Ball is actually spotted at the 48 of the Jets. Mewelde Moore back in as the running back. 3rd and 2. Luck looks right now. Second option. Flips it up into the air to Avery, and he dives. Incomplete. He was led just a little too much. And out comes McAfee for the punt.
Really good play by Andrew Luck. Really was. Blitz by the Jets. Look at him coming from his right. What pickup by this Colts offense on the run to his left, and Avery just can't make the really good catch.
Well, he had him, and it seems like today, when Luck has missed, he's missed long or high. He was signaling for Avery to keep on the run. He was definitely creating some separation. Curley makes a catch at the 7. It's Sergio Brown right in his neighborhood after the 41-yard punt. 21-6 Jets. Back here at MetLife Stadium, it's been a scoreless third quarter. Jets in front 21-6. Starting inside their own 10. It's been a big day for Sean Green. But this is Bilal Powell this time for 8 yards. And look at the Jets. They've either put together touchdown drives, including an impressive 14-play and another 11-play drive, or 3 and out. 3 punts.
Yeah.
All in 3 and out situations.
Reminds me of playing golf. It's just birdies or pars. It's, you know, you got nothing.
If you do say so yourself.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not like me to brag.
Oh. 2nd down and 2.
Blue 90.
And it's Powell. And he's got a first down. Into the secondary, brought down by Powell.
Well, let's look at what the Jets before the game. The quarterbacks, Tony Sperano in the red, Matt Cavanaugh, quarterback coach with the glasses. We know Sanchez, that's Greg McElroy. They're going over situations. And, of course, the one with the muscles, that's Tim Tebow. But they go over, they walk the field. Okay, when we get this position on the field, here's what we're going to call. So you're not surprised by anything when you're out there. So when you get inside the 20, you go, hey, we've already talked about it. Coach is going to call this. Your mind is ready. It's right. Gives you a better chance of executing.
It's McKnight, and Powell was shaken up. And he's got 3. Joe McKnight. Next Saturday, the conference plot thickens. The Home Depot SEC on CBS with Marcus Lattimore and the Gamecocks going after the Gators down in the swamp. It all begins with college football today. Next Saturday here on CBS. So Powell, as we mentioned, shaken up. So that's why McKnight has replaced him. Jets have 133 yards on the ground today. That's Hill. Got 4 Colts around him, but he's got enough for the first down where they're going to spot it. Stephen Hill, who had a touchdown catch in that first half.
Yeah, nice job, Stephen Hill. What a difference this week compared to last week. Oh, that is some nice little move. Got to know where the first down is. It's important. This league, 3rd and a foot. It's not a gimme. But Mark Sanchez, good rhythm. Beautiful spiral once again. But it's just a difference in seeing these wide receivers run the routes and making it look easy.
Hey, Cromartie's in here, and he's coming out to the right side, but Sanchez has to call the timeout. Cromartie was lined up wide to the right. Sanchez shakes his head on the mix-up, but the Jets have the lead. So back to the sideline for Cromartie coming out of a Jets timeout.
Yeah,
trying to sneak him in there before.
Yeah, surprise is out. It's out, so you can't. You got to take him out. Ruins the play.
3 receivers set. And look at Joe McKnight break it. Zimikowski is the only guy that can get him. And Zimikowski able to take him down at the 5. He got away from Darius Butler, and Joe McKnight in this Jets ground game is on fire.
Well, they put him back on the offensive side. He takes the hit, and this is just like returning the kick to him. Open space and trying to outrun everybody. Joe McKnight has been saying he wants more carries in the backfield, and it'll be hard not to give them to him after what we saw there.
Yeah, he just ran for 61 yards. Longest Jet rush of the season.
Of course, now hopefully he'll be okay. He's limping and his shoulder. He's got 2 things going on.
Yeah, and he came in only because earlier on this series, Powell was hurt. So it's back to Sean Green, who has a 100-yard performance and a touchdown, and is able to crawl to about the 4.
See, that's what all offenses need, Jim. We hear you got to get guys on the field that take routine plays and make something special out of them. Of course, and it's easily said, but do you have those guys? Joe McKnight is starting to show with the return game that he should be getting a few touches either in catching the football or running it every game.
Had that 100-yard return for the touchdown on Monday night, kick return.
And no more defensive back either.
2nd and goal. And a shift. Cover back to the left side. Green fights off the hit. What an effort and a touchdown. He spun away from Antoine Bethea and then eluded Zibikowski, and he has his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
What a day for the running game. What a day for Sean Green. This will do great things for his confidence. No doubt about it, but he looks so fresh. He sees Bethea coming in untouched, able to stop and make that little move. How about that? Peripheral vision. That's a big thing with running backs. He showed it there. (28-6) Jets. And we've got another update on the Cowboys and the Ravens, and James Brown, take it away.
The gap has been cut, Jim.
Yeah, 14 plays, 80 yards. Tony Romo, 7-yard touchdown pass to Dez Bryant, 24-20 Ravens.
First touchdown reception of the year for Dez Bryant. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
So that's turning into a wild one there in Baltimore with long kick returns and Romo bringing them back down the field. You saw as we were on the throw there to New York, you saw McKnight walking back into the locker room. And I'm thinking back, early today, we get to the stadium, one of the first things you do is you put a report together for, the CBS Sports.com and the Fantasy Football Report. And you made this proclamation that if you don't have Sean Green, you might want to go out and get him. This might be a good day. And I know there were fantasy players saying, hey, Phil, have you checked out his production this year? I wonder how many people, maybe you brought them a little W today with that advice.
No, they'll be just like everybody else. It'll be like my household. Nobody listens to me. So, I'm used to that. Or the crew, they don't listen to me either. But, talking about fantasy football, I'm not very good at it. But I do have one major victory this year.
And that would be your only one.
No, I got 2.
Oh, you got 2?
2.
Okay.
It's early.
This kick travels to the 5. And it's Brazil to the 24.
Well, let's look at Mark Sanchez after they scored. Sean Green knows the formation's not right. Get them back, get them in the right situation so the play can happen.
Bethea reaching in. Oh, wow. And he spun that ball around.
Isn't that something? First off, yeah, he spun the ball around, but what a move by Sean Green.
Yeah, a little more nimble than you might have thought.
No question.
Jets 4 for 4 in the red zone today. They got inside the 20, and all 4 times touchdowns. Avery on a wide receiver screen. He is met by Jeremiah Bell near a first down. Talk about the Jets converting all 4 times touchdowns in the red zone. That's a Colts defense that this year has seen the opponent 18 times in their red zone. And they've given up scores, not touchdowns in every case, but 18 for 18. They've never stopped anyone from putting points on the board.
Well, they got to get healthy before they're going to stop them.
2nd and 1. Beautiful. That'll be good for the first.
Good drive started by the Colts. The screen, that's what I love about this offense. It gets you going. It keeps you in rhythm as a quarterback. And, Jim, just what we talked about, the out and up and the back shoulder throw by Andrew Luck. Boy, I almost called him Oliver that time. But made it look easy, driving it to the sideline.
That was number 900 for Reggie Wayne, his 2nd catch today.
Hey, 56 now. Come on, line.
Actually entered the game with exactly 2,000 catches combined with Marvin Harrison all time. Cleaner. The rookie has another first and a gain of 12.
Regardless of what happens in the rest of this game today, I think you got to say, Jim, no matter what the stats say or whatever, you got to be impressed. just with Andrew Luck, the presence, the look, the throws, even though he's missed a couple.
Almost intercepted that time. Langston jumping in front of Fleener.
Well, they're going with this hurry-up offense. One, again, like they did in the first half, changed the rhythm, but the scoreboard, only so many times left with the football, so they got to take advantage of it.
There you go. With one team, those are the top 3 all-time career receptions. There's Hines right in between the two with 1,000 on the number, and as I mentioned earlier in this game, Ward has been helpful to Reggie Wayne this year about playing the slot. Nice gain here by Brazil, his second catch, and Wayne was out there throwing a block for him.
Yeah, he was. He goes in motion, comes back outside, gets the block. Those are the things that he's doing this year. 87, gets a nice little block. Lets Brazil get down the field for the first down.
That's the end of the third quarter. With the Jets leading at 28-6, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Colts Jets, quarter number 4. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms. The Jets up 28-6.
One defensive lineman for the Jets.
Luck shakes off the hit. Throws it in the area of Allen. And Jeremiah Bell and Aaron Maben both all over him.
Boy, oh boy, Andrew Luck, can he shake him off? I've said he's just a faster Ben Roethlisberger. And that almost reminds me of the throw he made last week on the last drive of the game. Green Bay Packers all over him. He stood there with his arm up in the air getting hit and threw for a first down to Reggie Wayne. That probably was the big reason they won the game.
You see the numbers last week, 464 yards total offense against the Packers. 204 through 3 quarters here. Going to the end zone, man wide open. And he overthrows Wayne, who had gotten away from his defender.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. They're giving Reggie Wayne some double moves, but it's the pressure. This time they just collapse the pocket, and another big hit. Aaron Maben, twice, back-to-back plays. Look at that out and up, right inside. But pressure on the quarterback evens things out for the defensive backs. Finally, Aaron Maben using the speed because they got the opposing offense in passing situations.
Luck is only 2 out of 8 on 3rd down. And this one's also incomplete. Intended for Avery.
Well, he's going to go in there and kick a field goal. So you think about it, 28-9. That would make the score if they hit it. That's 19 points. That's still 3 possessions.
You agree with that?
I think I would have gone for it. I would have gone for the touchdown. I would have went for it on 4th down. Jets running the football. It's going to be hard to even get 3 full possessions in this game.
Vinatieri.
That's 3 possessions, Jim, with 2-point conversions.
47 yards. And he's done it once again. A 20-yarder, a 50-yarder. This one from 47. 28-9. We're back, and Antonio Cromartie is back, waiting for the kick, coming off a Colts field goal. It's Cromartie on the return now with McKnight shaken up before on that 61-yard burst that set up their last touchdown. The McKnight run, in fact, was the longest Jet rush in 3 years. Powell, by the way, had gotten injured earlier on that drive, shoulder injury. They tell us he will not return. We have not gotten any report on the injury to McKnight. So here's Cromartie. And just across the 20. But what a day it has been for Sean Green.
Well, we talked about this running game was close. And I know the Colts, this run defense is not, the 49ers are one of the best in the NFL. But Sean Green took advantage of every time they were blocked. He made plays on his own. We've seen that. And the biggest thing, he just ran with conviction. And conviction, that translates into power when you're running the football.
It's the third time in his career he's had a multi-touchdown game. Figure he's going to see a lot of work here the rest of the way. No gain that time. Wednesday in prime time, you can take some more bows. Phil will be there with Chris Collinsworth, James Brown. Inside the NFL primetime on Showtime on Wednesday night.
You know, you're thinking the New York Jets. This is where your offensive coordinator, you draw up some plays. One first down's a big deal because that's going to take 2 to 3 minutes off the play clock.
Little pass, swirling in traffic, has the first down.
Boy, that was a good throw by Sanchez. Good job by Curley, knowing the defense is spread and you are going to get hit when you catch it. But the one thing I do like, they spread out the defense, 4 wide receivers, so it makes it easy for Mark Sanchez to see the defenders and where to throw it. Now this Colts defense, they know it. They talked about it. A lot of inside quick throws by the Jets. Well, the Jets have been doing it today. The Colts have not stopped it.
So a new set of downs. And another carry for Green, who is able to squeeze through a tiny seam and pick up another 6.
Boy, good run, good blocks. You know, you talk about the coordinator, Tony Sperano, and been a lot of talking here in New York about him. But Rex Ryan brought him in here. Jim, you and I have talked about it. He would be the perfect fit if the Jets defense was a dominant defense. Because then you got an offensive coordinator who believes in running the football and believes in a style of game where it would fit in with the Jets defense. Well, the problem is the defense hasn't been one of the best in the league so far.
It's Green. They'll face 3rd and 3. Sperano had a visitor during the offseason, Mark Sanchez. Well, he wanted to know a little bit more about his new offensive coordinator, and he actually, talking about Sanchez, he went down to Florida to visit with Chad Pennington. He said, tell me all about him. You know, I want to know all about him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he probably heard. He's honest. When that door is shut, that's just the way it is. That's the way he coaches. That's what he believes in. And he hasn't given up on what he thinks this offense can be. He said it in the papers during the week. Said it to us. They expect this running game to take off.
3rd and 3. They've got another first down. Sperano, by the way, raised up in New Haven, Connecticut, where as a young kid he used to be an usher at the Yale Bowl, where the Jets and Giants used to play.
Yeah, how about that?
Preseason game. So this Jets offense, no giveaways, no sacks allowed, and only 1 penalty today.
It's the kind of game, they keep this up, they can win today's game. They'll need it next week in New England. But this is, overall, I know they scored a lot of points against Buffalo, but this game is more impressive because of the situation. Coming off 3 losses.
Staying low for another 7 is Sean Green. And they rule him down.
And you know, we see it so many times, and I have a hard time sometimes believing it when you hear it. It's like body punches in a fight. You go, okay, I always keep hearing it's going to pay off, but does it really? It does tire the other fighter out. And the same thing with the running game. Colts know the Jets are going to run it. They know it. The situation of the game. So far, they haven't stopped it.
390.
2nd and 3 for no gain. Coach Ryan in his 4th year, and there he is, flanked by Sperano. And this gets back to your point, just to amplify it, maybe clarify it a little bit. This team was going to be built around a defense that was going to dominate. And then you have to have an offense that runs commensurate with that defense that's dominant.
No question.
And since the defense hasn't been what they thought it was going to be, now all the attention goes to this side.
Well, it does, but here's the big thing too. You're right, Jim. But it magnifies the offense when you haven't built it to be explosive and win games. Hard to do it.
3rd and 3. Sanchez, there's the first sack. And it's Jerry Hughes who has stepped up and played a pretty good game here, stepping in for Robert Mathis out with a knee injury.
Yeah, shining light for this defense. Mike Freeney still hobbled. Jerry Hughes has been a little bit of everywhere today. So that's got to make them feel good on the defensive side. Once they get their defensive line healthy, down in that dome, this defense can be tough. And nobody was open, so nothing Mark Sanchez could do.
Malone had a nice day of work, too. He kills this one. Bounces at the 1 and tumbles into the end zone. Touchback. 57, net of 37. 9:20 left in this one. Well, the Colts and the Jets. A rivalry that goes all the way back to Super Bowl III, if you talk about big ones. Plus that AFC Championship game tilt a few years back.
Well, this is a big drive. I mean, this is the game, really.
Spread them out, release it quickly, and over the head of T.Y. Hilton.
Andrew Luck's been to the ground quite a few times today. On an interception, been fouled a couple times. Jets, that pass play. Finally, the 5 wide receivers, what did they do? They had Davis, number 56, coming free to the outside. Made Andrew Luck throw up before he wanted to.
Luck is 0 for 4 in this quarter. And he hands it off with Jet defenders in the area. Copels is right there. Mwelde Moore is decked instantly for a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, there you go. Copels again. We got some young guys. This is a good draw usually, the old kind of weak side draw that a lot of teams run, but the problem is it's an obvious passing situation. So the penetration up the field by everybody is what ruins the play.
You see defensive coordinator Mike Patton.
So far, so good for this Jets defense.
Yeah, his defense has done quite the job here today. Now it's a 3rd and 13. Luck looking long, and no one open. There is a flag for Marty. Was defending on Reggie Wayne, who was the target.
Well, there definitely was some grabbing there, so I understand why they threw the flag.
Pass interference for 31 defense. First down, spot of the foul.
3rd penalty on Cromartie. I emphasize the word target because we talked to Reggie Wayne about that last night, and he doesn't like it when people talk about a target. A pass can be 10 yards away from him. You see the interference here?
Well, no, I don't see it there. You know, I thought maybe he went to ground. That was a unique route. It's just a new thing in the league. Go deep, stop, and break outside. But you're right. Being targeted, they could throw it 20 yards over the head. They say, oh, he was targeted that play. So, bad stat.
20-yard gain on the penalty, and Wayne took off without the football. He was targeted that time and should have had it. Next week's a doubleheader day on CBS. Early, the Ravens and the Texans to almost the entire nation, and then the Jets will be up in New England. And we'll be there for that one with it all starting at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today. JB and the crew on a doubleheader day next week on CBS.
You got to be alert as a defensive back. You know the Colts are looking for a quick, big play. Look for double moves.
2nd and 10. There's Fleener. And he's knocked back, but not before he picked up the first. Colby Fleener, who last year had 10 touchdowns, most of any tight end in Division I football last year out of Stanford.
Yeah, he is a good route runner. Andrew Luck knows him well, so that timing very good between the two of them.
And set it down from the 48. That one whistled right past Reggie Wayne. And Fleener.
I don't know if that football would have hit Reggie in the chest if he was going to catch that one.
And Reggie telling us last night that he loves the way Luck throws the football. He called it a runner's ball. He knows how to hit you in stride.
Yeah, that's a big point. That's when you talk about accuracy, that's what they mean.
Second down and 10. And that's Avery with a diving grab. They give him the catch, but they mark him about a yard shy of the first. It'll be 3rd and 1.
See if he gets the catch. Going to the ground. He's got to hold it. Once he hits the ground, and that's a catch.
Even though his left elbow was on the ground before the other foot hit?
No, his left foot is on the ground. Would be my take on it real quick.
I might throw a challenge flag on that. Right by the Colts sideline.
Let me clarify. His foot, it's got to be 2 feet.
Ruin on the field of a completed pass.
It's got to be 2 feet or one body part besides your hands. So, we'll see.
Was it a catch? Here's what.
Well, he doesn't get 2 feet. Does any body part. That means the shin, even the ankle. It's not the bottom of it now. Does that constitute being down? We'll find out. It was a quick decision that time by Bill Levy.
His left arm's out of bounds.
Yep.
After reviewing the play, the receiver only got 1 foot down in bounds. It's an incomplete pass. But the game clock operator put 7:50 on the game clock. The Jets will not be charged a timeout.
So the Jets win that challenge.
48.5.
It'll be a 3rd and 10.
Well, yeah. You know, a couple things about it. I thought his shin got down. That's why I thought it was a catch. But the Jets were right in challenging. But the big thing too, Jim, is it gave him a rest. So it's a timeout that did not hurt Rex Ryan.
Well, he won the challenge. So
and he won it, which is even bigger.
It's a 3rd and 10 instead of a 3rd and 1 had it been a catch. And it's back on the Colts side of the field at the 48.
Well, they got 2 downs to get this in. That's how you look at it.
As we have inside of 8 minutes left. Middle, and what a catch that time by Wayne. He had Cromartie behind him, and Reggie picks up 13.
Well, they're doing everything they can to give Reggie Wayne some space. Formations, putting 3 guys together, trying to get Antonio Cromartie or give Reggie Wayne a little space. That time it was just a little, and he made the catch.
Luck's over 200 yards passing now, and looking for more open. It's Wayne, and he awkwardly splits and gets knocked back by Landry, but he's got it at the 12.
Well, it's a zone coverage right down the middle. It's easy for him this time. That's what you got to look for when your safeties are deep. If you're in the middle, you got to run with the inside receiver down the middle.
This is a 26-yard pass play. Left open in the secondary. In zone bound and intercepted. It's Langster with the interception that will all but seal it. Luck was going for Avery, and Ellis Langster stepped in front, and the Jets have their 2nd interception of the game. And Shannon Boomer, Coach Cower, all the latest scores and highlights will take you around the league on the Subway postgame show. On the left side as Sean Green mounts another 16 yards to a big day total.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at the interception that wins the game. Here goes Avery to the back of the end zone. Here is Langster. There's nobody there to threaten him. It took a little time for the play to roll, but nobody to threaten Langster. He drops back. Andrew Luck, if he is going to throw it, has to throw that high and way outside. Doesn't get it to the exact spot.
Sean Green with Tebow now at quarterback. Green can get a career high right here. He needed 1, and they give him 2. That's 145 now for Green, and that is, in fact, his best performance ever.
Well, this will get the confidence and the feel good about your football team this week for the New York Jets. And let's just be honest, they need it. Going up to play New England, you got to believe in what you're doing.
Wide, Ethan.
And that's Green for another 3. Well, this is the thing. We often say it's a big game. But if you looked at the numbers, coming off of back-to-back home losses, if the Jets had lost in this spot, 3 straight weeks, 3 home losses, going to New England, then you would have to think that could be maybe not such a pretty occasion up there if you're coming on a 3-game losing streak at home. And you could be looking at 2-5. Now you win the game, you're going to be 3-3. And next week, regardless of what New England does at Seattle later today, if you beat them up there, now because of a tiebreak, you'd be in first place in the division. Tebow back at quarterback here on 3rd and 5. Tebow keeps it, and Hughes has him down for no gain. We have another update. James Brown in New York. What's happening around the league?
Atlanta getting it done defensively.
Yes, Atlanta's been struggling, but right here, Asante Samuels picks off Carson Palmer down the sideline. You think he's going to score? Well, he cuts back inside. He scores 79 yards, 20-13, Atlanta.
His first pick of the season, and that was a big one. Back to Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
Wow, a pick 6 there late in the game at Atlanta. And the Falcons trying to stay undefeated. We got a timeout here called by Indianapolis before the punt's coming up from Malone. 4:31 left. Well, the Colts have 2 timeouts. 4.5 remaining. Jets are saying it was an ankle injury for McKnight, but it looked more like it was a shoulder with him. And a fair catch all the way back at the 6 by Hilton. 53-yard beauty. Well, looking back on the flashback on the Super Bowl, and I mentioned it earlier, Jets, Colts, the Orange Bowl in Miami, the epic victory by the AFL's New York Jets. Matt Snell rushed for 121 yards and a touchdown, and Joe Namath, the MVP. Jets won it 16-7, and Neil Rex's dad was the defensive line coach for the Jets that day. As we have the countdown on to New Orleans and Super Bowl 47 on CBS. Buddy Ryan was the defensive line coach for the Jets, holding the Colts to only 7 points that day. And Hilton scampers ahead for 7. Winston Justice now. The right tackle is out. And Bradley Sewell has come in for him. Ankle injury for Justice, and there's a flag down. The ball is out. Wilkerson delivered the hit. Harris has the football, but will check the flag.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, number 74 defense. Penalties decline. Moving on the field is a fumble. First down, Jets.
Nico leading that on the offense.
Yes.
So Wilkerson, who's had a nice game.
Yeah, really good
both.
day. I mean, big day, Jim. Let's be honest. Big day by him and Copels. That was a big story coming into the game. The Jets defensive line needs to make an impact. They did today, and Andrew Luck, in that situation, I wanted to say even before the series started, be careful. You're not going to win the game. You need 3 scores, 3 minutes to go, 3:52. And but he is big, can take that punishment. You talked about in the first drive, the Jets on defense. Copels, Wilkerson, both coming through. Antonio Cromartie had some pass interference today, but overall still a solid performance
63
against Reggie Wayne.
And not that you called DeVito's name a whole bunch, but he's taken up space, he's taken up bodies, and he had to move to a new position in place of Sione Bauha.
That's what he does. And then on the other side, we just never got to see the real Colts defense. with Dwight Freeney limping around and Robert Mathis not there, but the Jets took advantage of it today. Give them a lot of credit.
Sean Gray down to the 10. 4 yards on that one. Next week, Jets at New England, the national doubleheader game. Then back here to host Miami before the bye.
And Miami, they're tough. That front seven of the Miami Dolphins now, they can get it done. Hard to run against them. They're going to hit your quarterback. Jet fans, you saw that down there. What was that? Week 3 or week 2? When you went down week 3 in Miami, it was tough on Mark Sanchez.
And they come back and have another game on Thanksgiving night. As Green ships around, gets near a first. You know, you've talked often about Freeney not being 100%, Mathis being out, but there were other guys also absent today. Moala, inactive, out with a knee. Devaseu, out with an ankle. And Vontae Davis, who was active, despite an ankle injury, we haven't really seen him at all, even though he's been dressed for the game.
I mean, Dwight Freeney, he's limping. As the game's gone on, he's just limped worse and worse. So that's some big stuff for this Colts football team. Of course, Donald Brown, the running back, the speed back, out.
Slauson in for Mangold as they go up the middle behind the center, and Green has another 2. He's up to 160. As we approach the 2-minute warning here, we remind you, the Subway post-game show is coming up after this one. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher on the Subway post-game show. 2 minutes left. Jets might be going in again, leading it a commanding 28-9. Tebow in as we come out of the 2-minute warning, and the Jets have the football at the 3. They credit Green for only a yard. He's at 159. Rex breaking out a big smile here. Let's see what Tebow can do in a goal line situation.
I like his chances of running the ball. How about that?
He's been a contributor here today. Stutter step move. Play never quite looked in sync. Let's go back over to JB for an update from the studio.
Hey, Jim. Carson Palmer, Derek Hagan was a big play that sets this up.
Yes, Darren McFadden, 2-yard touchdown run off an 8-play, 80-yard drive, which ties the game in Atlanta.
And, Jim, when yours is over, we'll take you there to Atlanta for that matchup. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
All right, a little bonus coverage, it sounds like,
there
James Brown.
You think JB is mad at me today because I didn't say he was the eye candy on the inside the NFL?
Well, you can make up for it next week.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll call him something else.
3rd and goal. Sanchez back in under center. Diving across. They haven't ruled it yet. I thought he was in.
They're just making sure he has the football.
Touchdown. Sean Green.
Well, that really caps it off, doesn't it? Sean Green, just a magnificent day. But let's don't forget, starting the day out, let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. Vladimir Dukas at time gets a nice block on Nevis.
How about 3 touchdowns and 161 yards?
Terrific day. But what it does, it's such a mindset. The running game can be so ugly because if it doesn't work, you just sit in the stands and boo. But when it works,
5 touchdowns for the Jets today, 35-9. Luck's reaction after that touchdown, set up on the strip sack by Wilkerson when Luck fumbled.
well, let's look at Andrew Luck today. So close. Young quarterback. There's going to be some frustrations. Bruce Arians, how about that? I like the interaction between the coaches and Andrew Luck. Look, they know there's going to be a few growing pains, but Jim, let's be honest. They're 2-3. Yeah, there might be a few growing pains right now with Andrew Luck, but even after today's game, watching him, it's very evident that this is going to work. And the Colts, all the draft picks this year, most of them all about their offense. The wide receivers, Bruce Arians.
They'll be going home to host Cleveland. Browns are up 10 on Cincinnati with about 5 minutes left. Then at Tennessee. I mean, there are, you look at the home games, the road game, there are some winnable games in this, on this page right here. This is, by the way, only the second road game for this young squad. They opened the season on the road at Chicago. Turned it over 5 times in that one. They were competitive a good part of the way before losing 41-20. Ball was out, and the Jets may have recovered it again. Josh Bush with the recovery.
Well, the Colts can't get off the field fast enough now. I'm not sure. Did it look like he was down, Jim?
I think that's a very strong case. Inside of 2 minutes, that will come from upstairs.
Yes, it will.
It is under review. Reggie Wayne seeks out his rookie quarterback for a little encouragement.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne, you talked about it earlier. He thinks he's going to be something special, Andrew Luck, and it's not about the physical part. He just likes the way he takes control of the football team. And look, this team, the Colts, they're giving control to Andrew Luck. It's not about winning just today's game. They're thinking about down the road, and they're going to get there pretty quick. Are his knees down?
Yeah, it looks like LeVon Brazil is going to be spared the indignity of coughing up the football and giving it away.
But I'll tell you, you look at this Jets team. We talked about the stories before the day's game. Mark Sanchez, he's going to get he might read the papers tomorrow. What do you think, Jim?
No, listen, I think he's more consistent than that. It's not reading the papers, it's even watching television.
Yeah.
I mean, you asked him about
do you
a certain highlight show.
Well, yeah, I asked him.
There's a lot of discussion going on. Do you mean to tell me you don't accidentally land every once in a while and hear what you say on TV?
The runner's knee was down with control at the 18-yard line. With their game clock operator put 103 in the game clock, it'll be first down to Indianapolis.
You know, it's just such a different atmosphere now in professional football, especially for quarterbacks. You're just judged so harshly. It is week to week, and it doesn't matter who you play. You could play the San Francisco 49ers or a college team, and they treat it the same way. So Mark Sanchez knows that, and he's handled it very, very well. The situation here, the team, and of course the Tebow situation.
Well, what he said was that there are some 200 other channels on my television, so they can bask in the glory of this performance in all facets of the game. Completion, and that goes to Vic Ballard. It was interesting when they introduced the starting lineups today. The Jets chose to introduce their special teams. You don't usually see that. I mean, you see offense, defense. It's happened occasionally, but they're coming off a kick return touchdown last week, and their special teams of Mike Westhoff again contributing today, a big play.
Most teams do it once a year.
2nd and 1. Back to Ballard. His first 2 catches come here in the game's final minute. That one for 7. Timeout, Indianapolis. So, digging through all the research, all the reams of information, I gleaned a little nugget. I thought maybe Luck's going to have this incredible performance in your company for the first time. You talked about it. You spoke about him last year.
Right.
You were looking forward to seeing him play. Found out that he was born on the night that you opened the season in 1989 on a Monday night down in Washington. His dad, Oliver, was watching you star in a victory, the Giants over the Redskins. You threw a couple of touchdowns and then just right after the game ended. Young Andrew Luck was born September the 12th, 1989.
There you go. You got to get me every week with one of these, but I remember the game. You brought it up, 89. I said, Washington Redskins.
Yes, you did. Wow, it's hit when he threw it. He was hit by Landry, who knocked him down, but Luck's back on his feet. Incompletion. Let's go back over to New York for the update.
This is how the Falcons trying to stay perfect.
Matt Bryant, 55 yards out, and he hits it. Atlanta wins 23.
One. Yep, one
second
second left.
left.
We'll
All
see.
right.
They should. Let's take it back.
My mistake.
Let's take it back to Jim and Phil.
How about that? 55 yards. Down at the Georgia Dome.
Kickers and punters getting too good in the NFL.
You know, at this point, if you're a Colts fan, you just want the game to end. You don't want Luck to take another hit. That was Copeles and Maven. And a loss of 6.
Yes, I'd either run a draw play or a screen.
Executive producer of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS. Today's game produced by Lance Barrow. Directed by Mike Arnold. Catch by Reggie Wayne. Ball was out. And that's DeMario Davis with the recovery. And just one kneel down to put it in the books. Senior producer of CBS Sports in the NFL Today is Eric Mann. Directed by Bob Matino. In the studio, senior coordinating producer, CBS Sports, Steve Karasek. Creative director of CBS Sports, Pete Radovich Jr. Associate directors of today's game, Corey Fishman and Andy Friedman. Broadcast associates, Eric Spitzer and Drew Simon. Technical manager, Pete Kalander. Technical director, Jonas Einstein. Audio supervisor is Ed Soltis. Kevin McHale managing the audio up here in the booth and everything else. Bruce Soboloff, our production manager, and Tommy Spencer is our editorial consultant. Ethan Cooperson, our stats from the booth. Jimmy Haddad, our on-field stage manager, and this one's over. Quite a performance by Rex Ryan's Jets today. 35-9 victory. Coming up next, the Subway post-game show. Bill, I'll see you in Foxborough next week. Jets will be coming in off this big performance, taking on the Patriots in our national doubleheader. For Phil Simms and all the crew, Jim Nantz saying so long from MetLife Stadium. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join James Brown and